The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
You only go screen, Spidey.
So we all have our regular families, but in the wrestling world, like we were talking about Tim White before, that Andre the Giant documentary. I could watch that all the time, and his love for Andre makes me cry every time. But my point to you is, you have this other family, and we all know that wrestlers have passed at a very early age, and you've become very close to them. How are you able to deal with that?
It's hard, man. It's I know a lot of times I think people are to me it's like people watch the news and you become numb to hearing about all the tragedies on the news. But for me, it's different when you learn about people you've shared the road with, whether you broke bread with them or not. If you've worked with them or been in the locker room with them or traveled with them in some way, shape, or form, it has to. Well, for me, it gets to me every time, and I'm fortunate enough where my wife knows that. And when something happens and we hear about someone in the business who's passed away for whatever reason may be, I just take some time by myself again, and I say this: I choose to remember those ha moments that I got to share with that person or people, and then it's just. For a minute, you just thank God that you're still here on the other side of that memory, and I don't think it ever gets easier. I think it's a tragedy, and for fans, for casual fans, and people who have never been involved in something like this, it doesn't go away. I still have crazy flashbacks about Crash Holly and. And I'm getting choked up again. Crash Holly and Cheese Lou, Rocco Rock, and Johnny Grunge, and just all my guys that I miss for so many different reasons. I don't think it ever changes, but going back, like you said, with Timmy White, he's talking about Andre, and so he called Andre boss, but everybody called Timmy boss because of that. You feel people's passion. We learn about each other's families. They're the only people we get to vent to when you're away from your wife and kids. All you had, and back in the day, there was no FaceTime, there was no internet and all these other things. So, the public phone or the hotel phone, a landline and things like that. But I choose to remember it. I think it's the hardest thing in the world. And I'm sure it's the same for NFL guys or Major League Baseball or the NBA and things like that. This wrestling community, I think, always will be and continues to be a tight knit community. So when there is loss, I think we all feel it in different ways. But boy, I really fight to find those good times. And then for the ones that unfortunately I've never spent time with or got to know, you just sit back and look at their body of work and appreciate them for who they are, and you send strength and prayers to their families. But it's that unfortunate phrase of the show goes on and the business stops for no one. So it's at times it feels like a little robotic, but the human side of it is I don't think those things go away too fast. And it's the same with Hebner and Timmy White, and as time goes on, there's triggers, right? There's triggers that make you remember things or remind you of something, and so unfortunately, I'm not a it is what it is kind of guy, because I don't believe in that, but it's a part of life and the circle, and I'm continue to look at the positive aspect of that.
Bill, recent
That's a
allegations-
crazy long answer, isn't it?
No,
that was
that's
a
deep.
great
thought
answer,
it was
man.
a great
That's
answer.
a great answer.
Usually we don't shut up. You shut us up. That was a great answer.
That was deep. Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
That was
Thanks.
Hey, sorry. I just figured I'd state the obvious. Bill, allegations against Vince McMahon. I'm trying to be
Yeah.
serious. Can you let me be
I'm
serious?
sorry.
Are you okay?
Go ahead.
You're good
I
now.
apologize.
Okay. Sorry, Bill. Recent allegations against Vince McMahon have obviously cast a shadow over his future with the company. Any thoughts?
As you could probably imagine, I'm not a fan of allegations or accusations.
Sure.
I deal in facts. I try to anyway. When I learned the news, I went, "Wow!" So I questioned, because you watch on this crazy social media world we're in. I think a lot of people get a free dart to throw at Vince because of the Mr. McMahon character. I think that's where a lot of the hoopla comes from. With Wall Street reporting these things and the news picking it up all over the world, it's a real thing. But I think a lot of people just chime in because they get to say something. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this: if there's something that happened that was, legally breaking the law or misconduct, then the chips are going to fall where they may, and that's something for Vince and Ken McMahon, the person, to deal with. As far as the WWE, I don't think there's anything big enough to stop World Wrestling Entertainment as a company and as what they do, on a daily, weekly basis as a company and performers. I think it'll shake things up a little bit if something formally comes out, but I choose to really, and I think I'm gun shy from it by now. I choose to, when I hear the words allegations and stuff like that, I offer no opinion, whether it's personal or professional, until everything comes out, because as we know, we're not hiding things here. I've been on the end of allegations and accusations, and just like I did then, I didn't comment on things that weren't factual. So I choose to, kind of just sit back and see what happens. And as always, I wish everybody well. To be honest, it has no effect on my day-to-day life currently. So I choose not to get too wrapped up in it, and then I also choose not to get involved in Twitter and all those things where people say, "Hey, tell me about that." There's really nothing for me to tell because I'm not there. I'm not part of it. I'm no longer a shareholder or anything. So there's no trickle down effect for me. I just hope that whatever happens gets cleared up, and that wrestling fans enjoy what they pay for and not get involved in the other things,
But don't you think, as a country, we have this habit as the people to tear down the success stories in hopes to build them up? Because with Mr. McMahon, we've got two different issues here. We've got the moral side of it against the legality side.
Right.
And I feel like as people of this country, we never seem to separate the two, right? Because morals is different from legality. So whether he slept with that woman and gave her hush money, that is a moral issue.
That's a moral issue, exactly.
Yep.
So why do you think this country has become this way, or do you think it's always been this way?
I think we've opened the door to give people more opportunity. Like, and this is where you go down the rabbit hole, right? There's a freedom of speech, and I can say anything I want, and here's my opinion. And once we have more formats to do that with no repercussions,
there you go.
I think people, it goes back to the keyboard cowboys and people who hide behind an avatar.
Yep. Yep.
And that, to me, is the downfall of, forget the wrestling industry, forget football, forget basketball, forget all these other, forget politics. This is what's happening, and you said it. In America, in this country, in the world, everybody gets to have an opinion, which is fine, and voice it, but the court of public opinion is taking over the courts. You're done. livelihoods are changed, careers are changed, all these things are changed. And I say that now openly because right now I'm in a conversation with the Speaker of the House of the United States, about her husband's legal problems. If they were moral problems, I have nothing to say about that because I'm sure. Listen, I don't stand on a soapbox and I don't live in a glass house, thank goodness, because morally, I know that I've done things that might be incorrect, and I'm not here to judge people. But I think everybody feels like I can say what I want, and I'm not really hurting anybody. And if I am, who cares? They don't know who I am.
Bill, any thoughts on?
I think
you said that it was the public opinion. Is it the public opinion or just the loudest opinion on the internet nowadays?
Well, I think we have to say the public because we can't narrow it down to one group, one person, one thing. So it's the court of public opinion is super, super strong because. And listen, and if we're talking about the WWE, you're a publicly traded company. You got Snickers, you got this one, you got that one. You got Fox and Peacock and these millions of billions of dollars, and they can't have their brand tarnished. Just like NXT can't be tarnished, or AEW can't be tarnished, or IBM, or Walmart, or Apple, or movie companies can't be tarnished. So there's always the court of public opinion that's going to help sway how people think, feel, and support or not support the situation.
What was your personal relationship with Vincent Kennedy McMahon, if we can ask?
I'll try to answer this one short. From day one of joining WWF at the time, can I say that here, WWF?
Sure. Say whatever you want.
Sure.
I know it's not politically correct. You can't say it because the panda bears will come and get me or something. But
hey, be careful.
Last
week we announced that what kind of sloth bear ate 2 people in India.
Yeah,
so you got to be careful as panda bears.
Watch those.
I always wanted a sloth. We got to talk about this later.
Yeah,
I want a sloth.
I know one that's on the run in India. He's all yours.
I'd love to see anybody who gets caught by a sloth. I don't know. I want to say you almost deserve to get a piece.
That's what I said last week, but I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I took some heat for that.
And then, so when I joined the company, from the minute go, I'm a big fan of people look in your eyes, shake your hand, and let you know they're in the room. And I've had some really good conversations with Vince. I've had some crazy, creative conversations with Vince, but he's always been very cool.
Really? Okay.
The thing that stands out for me with Vince McMahon, and this is my respect for him after wrestling, is when my daughter was killed in 2015, Vince was one of the first people to pick up the phone and speak to me.
Okay.
And that speaks volumes. This isn't wrestling. This isn't, a gimmick. This wasn't so he could say, "Hey, guess who I called during his tragedy." This was a man, Vince, calling a man, Bill, and sharing a moment and some thoughts and just heartfelt conversation. And I've never had anything less than that from Vince. I knew when it was business, and I knew when you could have a couple of laughs with him. He was always available to you, or at least in the times that I was with him, and later on when I worked behind the scenes as a producer and an agent, always, business, let's go get him. And then if there's times to sit around and laugh or throw a shot at each other or something, I always had a good relationship with Vince. There was never anything, like I have nothing, I wish I could, he tripped me in the hall one time, that sucker, and I got mad. No, nothing, man. I've seen him at his best. I've seen him when he's mad. I've seen him when he's late. I see him when he's got a lot on his mind. But I've never seen him not take the time for a conversation or explain his thinking. But the thing that stays with me when I hear his name is how he respected my family and picked up that phone.
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine.
Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts, there's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.